language is vague, which is why it's being challenged right now. So there's actually a lawsuit that's making its way through the court. And there was an initial ruling in the case in favor of the people that sued the government, saying that they actually have a legitimate point, that they could potentially be targeted under this law and that their targeting would have been unconstitutional. But it could potentially go to the Supreme Court. It's an active court case. It's the NDAA. You can look it up and read about it. But there's a major, in fact, Noam Chomsky actually is one of the plaintiffs in the suit, which is interesting because and people might not know this, but he's in touch with all sorts of people around the world on a daily basis, not just hunched over a computer. He does a lot of travel. So and it's written in such a vague way that someone like me could potentially be held in that. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not a wacko, but I do think that it's a dangerous precedent. And the mistake we always make in our society is believing it couldn't happen here. So at this point, I don't think it's an imminent threat. But if that stays on the books, a couple administrations down the line, we don't know what's going to happen. It's a dangerous precedent. Well, any women that would, yeah.
Do you have anything to say about Benghazi?
About Benghazi?
Yeah.
No, I have never been to Libya, and I haven't studied all of the details of Benghazi. I'll give you my sort of brief. What I do know is that I wish that the people who were banging the pots and pans about how there's a Benghazi cover-up were not like the looniest of the Looney Tunes in Congress. I wish that some sane people were raising questions about what happened in Benghazi, because I actually don't think that it's likely that jackass's video about the Prophet Muhammad was what caused the Benghazi attack. I think that there were covert operations that were happening that had inflamed the situation in Benghazi. And I say that because a friend of mine who's a former Navy SEAL named Brandon Webb, who's the editor of this special ops website called SOFREP, has been talking to people that were involved on the military side in that operation and raising very important questions and doing it in a responsible way. But it's become this sort of cause celeb of the Michelle Bachmann dingbat factory, and for them this is basically the second coming of 9/11, and I think it's really unfortunate because I think it undermines legitimate questions. The White House is able to sort of say, well, this is crazy people that are talking about Benghazi. And in general, they're right. There are crazy people talking about Benghazi. But there are serious issues there. And I think we should have a real investigation, but with sane people leading the investigation and not allowing the administration to sort of obfuscate and not put forward serious witnesses on it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'd like to re-echo the sentiments of somebody earlier. Thank God for the fourth estate.
Yeah.
Thank you. But not to be overly simplistic, but if you could, you could be king of America for the next 10 years.
No, thank you.
Would you? Because you are who you are and you know what you know. Would you just say, okay, let's leave everybody the hell alone and become a little bit more, if you will, isolated?
So the question is, what would I do if I was king of America? That literally is what he asked me for those people. I would issue an edict that all gold shall belong to me. No, and then Ron Paul is allowed to set the price of gold. On the issues, I don't want to talk out of my lane. On the issues that I cover, just concretely, I'll answer that. I believe that nation states have a right to defend themselves. I am not a pacifist. However, I think that we have reached a point where our military actions have absolutely nothing to do with self-defense anymore in many of these countries. I think that we should stop viewing the threat of terrorism as a war and start viewing it as a crime and holding people accountable. We actually have the most successful cases that we have where terrorists have been brought to justice is when they've been prosecuted in the civil court system. If you look at what's going on in that abomination in Cuba right now, Guantanamo, I mean, it's unconscionable. All of these people many of these people that are there cleared for release, and they're just languishing in this prison. And why? Why can't we release them? Why don't those people have anything vaguely resembling rights?